In this video, I will define my definition of both philosophical idealism and panpsychism. It is true that the terms mean different things to different groups of people. It is the only way I can communicate my path and share my journey. It is the only way to allow someone else a chance to grasp my meaning and share a common understanding, even if agreement is elusive. However, I will begin with a short general definition from the internet and will elaborate on my precise meaning afterward. It is only in understanding general meaning that one can define personal and subjective meaning. Even though you do not see me or hear my voice, I want to use my words to create a connection. The next two paragraphs explain the general meaning of philosophical idealism and panpsychism. You will see that they overlap. Philosophical idealism is a broad category of philosophical systems that share the common characteristic of asserting that reality, or some significant aspect of it, is fundamentally mental or dependent on consciousness. In contrast to materialism, which posits that the physical world is the ultimate reality, idealism emphasizes the primacy of ideas, thoughts, or consciousness. There are various forms of philosophical idealism, but two prominent categories are subjective idealism and objective idealism. Subjective idealism, also known as solipsism. Subjective idealism asserts that only the mind and its contents are truly real. In other words, reality is entirely dependent on the subjective experiences of individual minds. The external world, including other people, is considered to be a projection or construction of the individual mind. The philosopher George Berkeley is often associated with a form of subjective idealism. Objective idealism. Objective idealism maintains that there is a universal or cosmic mind or consciousness that underlies and gives rise to all of reality. In this view, the physical world is a manifestation or expression of this universal mind. Objective idealism doesn't reduce reality to individual subjective experiences but posits a more expansive, all-encompassing consciousness. Philosophers like G.W.F. Hegel and Josiah Royce are associated with forms of objective idealism. It's important to note that the term idealism can be used in different contexts, and in epistemology, it may refer to the view that the ultimate reality is mental or that knowledge is fundamentally shaped by the mind. In metaphysics, idealism pertains to the nature of reality itself. Philosophical idealism has been a significant topic of debate throughout the history of philosophy, with proponents and critics offering various arguments and counter-arguments. The relationship between mind and reality, the nature of perception, and the status of the external world are central issues within the framework of philosophical idealism. Panpsychism is a philosophical position that posits that consciousness is a fundamental and intrinsic feature of the universe. Unlike some other perspectives that attribute consciousness only to certain complex entities, such as humans or animals, panpsychism suggests that consciousness is a pervasive quality that exists in varying degrees in all things, including inanimate objects and fundamental particles. The term, panpsychism, is derived from two Greek words, pan, meaning all, and psyche, meaning mind, or soul. In essence, panpsychism proposes that mind or consciousness is a fundamental aspect of reality and is not confined to specific living organisms. There are different versions of panpsychism, but they generally share the idea that consciousness is not solely an emergent property of complex neural systems. Instead, it is present at some level throughout the entire cosmos. Some panpsychists argue that even the most basic constituents of the universe, such as electrons or quarks, possess some rudimentary form of consciousness. Panpsychism addresses the so-called hard problem of consciousness, which is the challenge of explaining how and why physical processes in the brain give rise to subjective experiences. By positing that consciousness is inherent in all things, panpsychism offers a unique perspective on the nature of consciousness and its relationship to the physical world. It's important to note that panpsychism is a topic of ongoing philosophical debate, and not all philosophers or scientists endorse this perspective. You can see that the two terms overlap, and my reason for using both is to be certain that I am not misunderstood. This far, I reject subjective idealism and embrace objective idealism. In this way, I stand on the shoulders of the Hermetics. I believe that there is what Aldous Huxley called mind at large. It is synonymous with Jung's collective unconscious and has been described by some occultists as cosmic consciousness or universal consciousness. Here is where speculation on my part enters the picture. It resonates with my intuitive nature, which I believe to be the higher self or indwelling divine consciousness that we all have. This speculation on my part is my attempt to find meaning in our existence. These are important questions. Why do we exist? Is there a transcendent meaning to our lives beyond the grave? For me, the materialist and evolutionary answers are very unsatisfying. This is the reason that I spend the time in deep dives into consciousness, creation, and its ultimate purpose. This is the reason that I share and honor my speculation. To use a computer metaphor, consciousness is the operating system of the universe. It is likely one gigantic quantum computer and is therefore not only the software but the hardware as well. This is certainly the idea of Seth Lloyd, a computer and theoretical physicist at MIT. My only reason for names dropping is to establish that one can find fellow travelers that reinforce the reasonableness of such speculation. One only needs to explore the many and varied ideas within quantum mechanics and its foundational relationship to objective reality to see that the possibilities for speculation are many. While you can find a plethora of materialists that will try to excoriate anyone who would speculate using current scientific theories, the reality is that it is not an unreasonable endeavor. It offers a bridge between science and spirituality. To make sure that these videos are brief, I will offer my speculation up front. Quantum mechanics has what is known as field theory. I want to state that I am not a physicist, so my speculation is intuitive. It is only based on what I read that experts have said and the video interviews I have watched where their ideas are presented. Sometimes they are difficult to understand, but given enough time and exposure they become clearer even to me. I have found that there is a wide variety of competing and sometimes mutually exclusive hypotheses and theories. However, I am convinced that in this area the answer lies in the Kabbalion and Hermetic axioms. It goes like this. All truths are but half-truths, all paradoxes will be resolved, the Kabbalion. So here is my speculation. Conscious reality is found in invisible fields that are all around us. There are all kinds of energetic waves and particles that surround us that we cannot see with the eye. This is what consciousness is. It is information. Exactly what kind of information I cannot say. Certainly, it is mathematical. Beyond that is beyond my ability to speculate. Right now, with the standard model of cosmology, the idea of dark matter and dark energy is an accepted necessity for what is observed. Dark matter seems to keep the universe from flying apart, and dark energy keeps it expanding in an orderly fashion. For me, it is the most likely candidate for creative consciousness. It is interesting that the ancients alluded to it. In the Corpus Hermeticum, in the part called Poemanders, the man-shepherd, we find an explanation of creation where the word of the mind acts upon the dark waters of potentiality. In the Christian Bible there is a reference to things that exist as being created from things not seen. Here is a good place to end this session, but it leads me to believe that I am not irrational for believing that consciousness is foundational, and that consciousness and spirituality are interchangeable terms. If this resonates with you, please like, subscribe, comment, and share. Thanks for watching and for your valuable time.